Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday night, everybody. Welcome to Got Your Back. Rob Brown and Jason Strudwick are standing by. Going to talk about the Oilers making some cuts today, among other things. Glad to have you on board tonight. We're coming at you, as always, from our Adrenaline Diesel studio, Edmonton's premier heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop, specializing in powertrain, tuning, performance, and parts sales. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. And of course, this show presented by our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Skate over to playalberta.ca, get in on odds boosts, player props, and other ways to make the game more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB9. That is a $50 free bet with the code GYB9. Visit playalberta.ca. Plenty of options for the sporting fan on this Sunday as we say hello to the fellas. Gentlemen, it was hours upon hours of watching golf. Anybody catch the President's Cup? Or what'd you guys get into on this sports Sunday? Brownie?
I did watch a little of the President's Cup. After they fell apart at the end of yesterday, I knew that it wasn't going to be a good day for my team international. As for football, I watched my Kansas City Chiefs win today, so I believe we're now 4-0 on the season. I can't remember. I just keep losing track of all the wins that my team gets, but it was a little bit of football and a tiny bit of golf earlier in the day.
Yeah, I love how you just picked the Chiefs when they started winning.
No, I did not. I picked them when they got Patty Mahomes because I knew they were going to start winning. Pardon?
What's the name of their stadium?
Arrowhead.
Well, name one player before Patrick Mahomes that played on that team.
Before him?
Before he arrived.
Steve Bono.
Did you say Dave Steve?
No, he was a pitcher for my Blue Jays when they were good.
Struddy taking Brownie to task. Eh? You feel like he's a bandwagon jumper, hey? He's like a fair weather fan. Like not a
It's
true
a joke.
fan.
You can't just pick a winner. Like you do that when you're 8.
I didn't. They hadn't started winning. I pick my favorite players' teams to cheer for. And my favorite player at that time was Patrick Mahomes. And now his team is the champion. You do know that at the end of, I think in the last 6 years I've been a fan, half those years, my team won the Super Bowl. So I've been much happier than you and your Giants.
I'm a true fan because I stay with my teams. I never leave. I stay with them through thick and thin. I never leave them. And when you win, it's rewarding. You're just a casual fan. You turn it on, whatever.
How would you know it's rewarding? Your team has never won. How do you know it's rewarding?
What do you mean? We have a long history of winning. You can't win every year, right? I can't wait till the Chiefs go down and then you start losing and you'll find a new team.
I will. Yes, I will. 100% I will.
I know you will. Trust me. I already know it's what your history is.
I love it. That's just so easy to do between you two. That's just so easy.
You know what? Brownie probably started cheering for Team USA in President's Cup sometime around about 3 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah. No, I will never, ever cheer for Team USA. Even though my kids are born in the States, I will never cheer for Team USA.
Typical.
What do you guys make of Tom Kim and the big fist pump yesterday and the going to sleep thing and all their putting it to bed thing and all that? You guys see all that?
100%. I loved it. I mean, it made it exciting, made it interesting. I mean, you got to back it up because, I mean, it gives the opposition a little bit of fuel, but I don't think there's enough excitement, especially some of the Americans who are fantastic players, but boring to watch. So he made it exciting. And I mean, when he went and measured the putt where he said, look, it's inside the putter, that was hilarious. So I was all good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the team game for them brings a lot of energy out, and maybe they do things that are outside of their comfort level. So I think it brings eyes to the sport. So good for golf. But I don't know what the only thing Tom Kim's putting to sleep normally is probably like he starts telling the story. Like he's not the most exciting guy. So, if he's putting someone to sleep, I want to see who he's putting to sleep.
Nice work. What do we got here? Oh, there was one I needed to get to. Oily Sink. Zuby, you want to grab that Oily Sink comment? Oily Sink in on our Weiss Johnson YouTube stream. Brownie's got that seductive chest hair going right now. You're a couple buttons deep on that V-neck there, Brownie.
They don't. My pecs are so strong right now. Like as soon as I do it up, it just pops right. It's just bursting out. I'm popping right now. I'm popping.
Plunging neckline.
That's a Henley.
Plunging.
Brownie,
what's that, Zuby?
That's a Henley. Brownie rocks the Henleys. It gives you options to go. What's
a
deep.
Henley?
A Henley, the shirt. The
type of shirt.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, really?
Gotcha.
I believe
this is the kind of stuff Tom Kim tells, and that's how he puts everyone to sleep.
See, I think Struds is thinking about Tom Kite, who was a boring golfer. Tom Kim, he's exciting. He's exciting.
No, they're all the same.
Yeah. Well, they got their I don't know if the guys from the US didn't love it yesterday or whatever, but they got their comeuppance today. 10 straight events. Like maybe you got to tweak the event in some way, shape, or form. 10 straight President's Cup. I think the states have won here.
Well, the states had 8 of the top 50. The states have 8 of the top 15 players in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas the internationals had 1. I mean, it was a mismatch on paper. So this was the expected outcome.
All right, guys, let's talk about some Edmonton Oilers. There were some cuts today, and we will break down what we saw from last night's game as well. So our breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. The Ram Big Haul event is on now. Get up to $94.50 in discounts with a no-charge Cummins turbo diesel engine on 2024 Ram heavy duties. Check out your Ram dealer for all the details on the great deals that they have. Great looking truck, beautiful interior. Okay, fellows, there were some assignments tonight. If there are any people listening or paying attention and haven't heard yet, Cam Denede, Connor Carrick, Seth Griffith, Matt Seavoy, all assigned to Bakersfield, and Sam O'Reilly sent back to junior after a pretty good showing. I think probably the two conversations points are Matty Savoy and Sam O'Reilly. So let's start with their first round pick here, Struds. They hopped up and grabbed him late in the first round and came in. And I don't know, man. Feels like he made the scouts look pretty smart with the camp that he just put together.
Yeah, he sure did. And I didn't know who he was when they drafted him. I mean, I'd heard of his name, but first time I really got to see him play. And I liked what I saw. I think there's a player there, and what's his ceiling? I'm not sure, but he's smart. And, I think something that it feels like they're really trying to bring is smart hockey players. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, he showed really well. I think he can grow off this, have a really good year back in junior, the old same thing, get stronger, move faster, all that kind of stuff. But, I could see him playing in the NHL at some point, which is a really positive thing for a group that doesn't have a ton of those right now in their minor league system.
I think what you liked the best about him was the play without the puck. A lot of players that come out of junior, especially first round picks, they all know how to play when the puck's on their stick, but they look a little lost when they don't have their puck. This kid was always on the proper side defensively. He was always in the battle, making smart decisions with and without the puck. So I think he has a very high hockey IQ, and I see now why the Oilers, traded up to get him. He's a guy that you could see being, like a second or third line centerman, someone that you could put out against the other team's top players and feel safe. So yeah, I think he showed well, and he's going to go back to junior with a ton of confidence and build off it.
So pretty clear battle happening for kind of the last couple of spots up front, or the one spot up front. So Savoy would seem to me, with the assignment here, they know who this is coming down to, and they need to get these guys into games, the guys that are scrapping it out. And so I think they want to have more NHLers in the lineup more often. And there's only going to be a couple of those sort of, perimeter guys or those bubble guys battling it out. So Savoy ends up getting the assignment. I don't know. What would you think of his showing overall, Brownie? Were you expecting more overall? Apparently he was their best player in Penticton, or one of them. but did he make enough noise, do you think, in a couple of exhibition games he got?
He showed flashes. I think when he moved up with Connor at the end of last game, there was about 2 or 3 shifts, and he had a couple good scoring chances. There was the end of the Winnipeg game where he had the one end-to-end rush and a couple other shots. So there was flashes. I think the biggest thing for Maddie, and I've known Maddie since he was in grade 4, and then Struds and I had Maddie at our academy at NAX, as well as in St. Albert. I had him. His work ethic is top-notch. Fantastic kid, but he's yet to play with men. You know, he had a handful of games in the AHL with Buffalo. He played one game with Buffalo that lasted, I think he got 3 minutes of ice time in his game. But the majority's been playing junior hockey. He needs to learn how to play with men who have a man's strength, who are bigger, who are faster. He's not a big man, so he's got to learn how to play in the big areas or the hard areas against men. So for me, him going to the minors and learning to become a professional against men and learning the professional game will make him a better game. I think he will be a much better player in February and March than he is right now.
Yeah, I think the big thing in Brownie, just to follow up on your thought, is the space. There's less space against NHL defensemen and forwards. They're just so much longer, so much bigger. And I felt like he was trying to figure out how to get around those guys. And, you know, sometimes you play NHL defensemen and sometimes you're playing against college or guys who've just been, just going down the minors. So I think him understanding how to get in and out of that traffic and find some room is really going to be a challenge. So this isn't a bad thing. I don't think this is a failure by Matt Savoie at all. I see it as something that, I think we all agreed was the right course of the next course of action for Matty Savoie is to go down the minors. And I want to see him play a ton down there. And I want to see him play both center and wing. I want him to learn to get the responsibility. And I would expect that there would have been a lot of straightforward talk with him. Hey man, these are the type of things we want you to work on. Go down there. The coaching staff will help you and we'll be checking in. You're important to our team, but there's no timeline. This isn't, you'll be back here, by, American Thanksgiving. It is, you're going down there to work on your game when you're ready, and we need you. You'll have a spot, but work your ass off meantime.
Okay, let's get to the battle that's shaping up at, we'll call it fourth center, might be 13th forward, but I think we can all agree that Ryan and Perry probably come and go from the lineup and aren't necessarily going to be every night guys. And, if either, I think there's potential for whoever wins this job to get regular action. So Hamblin is still floating around. Peterson's still in there, but I believe at this point, probably it's coming down to Raphael Lavoie and Noah Philp, who both scored goals last night. Brownie, Struds, and I have been beating this around a little bit over the last couple of shows, but give me your kind of handicap on where this battle is for this spot and what you could see happening.
Well, I think Ryan is head and shoulders better than all the other players battling. I think he's a smarter hockey player than those guys. He's got experience. Now, whether or not he can play 82 games, maybe not. Maybe at his age, I don't know. But he is, to me, head and shoulders above the rest of the players. Yeah. I do believe that Corey Perry is not, I don't think at this age you want him playing 82 games. I think Corey Perry at this age, 50 to 60 games, and you get the best out of him. I think Pakolzin is an automatic on the third line, or as the fourth line left winger. I don't think anyone's touched him because of what he brings. His physicality he brings it more than any other player trying out. I believe that if you were going based on play, Noah Philp is ahead of Raphael Lavoie. He's a right-handed centerman. He can, if you could move Derek Ryan to wing, pull Perry out, Philp can be your centerman. Philp wins faceoffs. He's got size. He can kill penalties. Raphael Lavoie has shown some pretty good signs. He's had a couple good games. The problem for Lavoie, he's never playing on the power play in Edmonton. He is about 12th on the depth chart. They got your first 5, and then you still don't have Henrique on one. You don't have Arvidsson, Skinner, Perry, Kane when he comes back. Raphael Lavoie is behind all those players, so he's never playing power play, and he can't penalty kill. So Lavoie, if he plays on the fourth line, you're searching for ice time for him. And he's shown some really good things, and on a lot of other teams, he would be a no-brainer. But I think right now, because Philp can penalty kill, Podkolzin has been penalty killed and scored a shorthanded goal. Corey Perry can play on your power play. Derek Ryan penalty kills. I just think that Raphael Lavoie, as well as he's shown, is 13th or 14th forward because he doesn't have that other element as a power player penalty killing when he's trying to find him ice time.
Yeah, we've kicked around this Raphael Lavoie text a lot between the three of us in our group chat. And
well, when he got the winner last night, what was the I said, too bad that doesn't matter, I think was what I sent into the group. Nice goal. Too bad it doesn't matter.
The problem is in a game, a regular season game, he wouldn't have been out there at that time of the game.
Yeah. I don't know why he bothers shooting it, guys. He should just dump it in since him scoring means nothing to either of you. Anyways, continue, Struds.
Yeah. So I don't want to beat that up anymore, but I think that when I look at Philp, it was interesting to hear a little bit of the comments from the coaching staff tonight or today, specifically Chris Knobloch, saying that he's been surprised by the way he's played.
You know what, Struddy, I've got that clip. Do you want to make your point and then we'll hear the clip, or do you want to
go ahead,
let us hear it? And then let's hear it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box here. We're going to hear from the head coach. The cold is coming. It's time to get that garage heated up. So enjoy the luxury of a warm vehicle or heated man cave this winter. Installing a garage heater will also help you if you have rooms over top the garage that are always a little cooler as well. Visit Weiss-Johnson.com today.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Okay, I forgot to label these. So I believe this is Chris Knobloch on Noah Philp.
You changing that narrative a little bit by how well he's playing?
Yeah, that would be a fair assessment. My thoughts exactly. Here's a guy that hasn't played for 17, 18 months, and to come to an NHL camp and to make the team right away would have been almost ridiculous to think about. But he's played really well. He showed us that he is ready, and he didn't have as much rust as what you would think. I think his last year that he was playing, I think he was gaining a lot of traction. I think they did a heck of a job in Bakersfield developing his game.
Okay, Struds. Let's quickly just listen into Noah Philp, too, talking about his game right now.
I'd like to think I'm getting a little better, yeah. But I think, just trying to be stronger and win battles and be good defensively. And I think I've gotten better at that, and I've been learning from the coaches. They've been giving me lots of good tips, and that's my progression.
How about it, Struds?
Defensively, it feels like he's always in the way. Like that's a really compliment. And as a D-man, I like a center who can help me out if, on the rare occasion where I would have made a mistake, right? So he's there. He's in the right place. He hasn't played in a long time. And does he need to just get, a few weekends or a few times where you play, 3 and 4 or back to back, like that kind of get his body going? I don't know. I would have thought that he'd been starting the minors for sure. Now the way he's played has surprised me a lot, especially the way he's winning draws. So as we get towards the end here of the training camp, I'll be interested to see how much penalty kill time he gets. Because he can win draws and he's a right shot center, and then taking those draws against guys in more high pressure situations in training camp. So I'm really surprised by him, but I'm excited about him because he could help, fill a hole on this team.
So if it were just strictly about the way they played in training camp, I think we all agree he would be on the roster when the season starts, right? We would all agree. I think we would all nod our heads in agreement to that. Anybody who's watched all of this probably would, but sometimes there are simply other factors at play. And there are some other factors at play here, guys. So the Oilers just lost Dylan Holloway. They just lost Philip Broberg, right? Draft picks that are important in this organization, prospects that are gone, you end up losing for nothing. And Raphael Lavoie does require waivers to go down. Now, he cleared waivers last year, and I believe the likelihood is he would probably clear waivers again this year, but he has scored a couple of goals here in preseason. So if the Oilers were to keep Philp and assign Lavoie and they lose Lavoie, and then for whatever reason, maybe there's some struggles for Philp or some early season, this, that, or whatever, like we would all expect after all that time off. Now you've lost Lavoie, didn't quite work out with Philp. The safer play here, asset-wise, is to just send Philp down, say, you did amazing, you will be back here, go and get some games, and to let Raphael Lavoie either play his way onto this team or play his way into definitely clearing the waiver wire.
The problem with that is, how do they get him in the lineup? It goes back again. He doesn't power play and he doesn't penalty kill. He's not playing ahead of Ryan. He's not playing ahead of Pakolzin. And then Corey Perry makes $1.4 million. They brought Corey Perry back at a pretty high price point compared to what Janmark and Connor Brown got. So he's not going to get a lot of ice time. And when he does play, he gets what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 5-on-5 time. So it's really hard to say he's going to play his way onto the hockey team when really he's in the lineup. He's not going to play a whole lot anyways. So he's in a tough situation. The Oilers are too, and I completely understand if they were to lose him. But again, you're losing your 12th, 13th forward. This is an Oiler team that's trying to win today. So losing a Lavoie, which you put some time and effort into him, it's not breaking the bank for the Edmonton Oilers.
Let me bring up one other possibility here. Like, are we positive that Matthias Janmark is going to be the third line left winger for this entire season, or that he's going to be a third line player for this entire season? Like, he was a fourth line player for long stretches over the last couple of seasons as an Oiler. And Lavoie is a guy that if he comes in and has a couple of strong games and Janmark is kind of quiet, Janmark's fine on the fourth line because he can penalty kill from there, and he can be used in different ways. But I would view Lavoie as a guy who, when he's on his game struds, might actually be able to push the guy in front of him, because it's not like it's Evander Kane sitting there ahead of him.
Yeah, and I think that we have to more look at it as the group of six, or the group of nine, and then the bottom group of six, because I think those guys are going to kind of mix around. Even the top of nine might move around a little bit as we go. So you're trying to get the best players in there that can have some flexibility to your lineup. Brownie's, the point about Lavoie he makes is really good, because he's not on neither power play or penalty kill. So how does he fit in? So if he plays 5-on-5, that's great, but he's got to find another gig. Brownie or Rishaug, I understand what you're saying about Lavoie and his 2 goals, but what I liked more about his game last night was he's physical. I think he had 5 hits last night, and that is his ticket onto this team. That's the only way. That's the only way. Yeah. So to me, the goals are bonus. It's not the other way. The hits aren't the bonus. The goals are the bonus, and that is what the coaching staff wants from him. And so, Paul Colson, same thing. Lavoie, same thing. And I'm not downplaying their goal scoring ability or lack thereof, either way. But you have to hit and be physical in that group to get into it, right? That's how you get on the team. And I feel like I'm oversimplifying it at times, but that's the truth. You can't score from the stands. That you have to be on the line, in the lineup to make that happen. Yeah. So, if I was Lavoie, I would be the next team again. I'd just run everything. Run anything that moves, and just say, I'm not being denied, and then keep shooting, but run everything that moves to try to get the attention. Say, this guy can, and more importantly than can, wants to do it consistently.
Mm-hmm. Man, he's got such a great opportunity here, because it doesn't like Philp can be sent down and brought back. Like there's something that's there for the taking. And I really want to see Raphael Lavoie like clearly fighting for his NHL life and playing Brownie like he understands. He's literally fighting for his NHL life right now.
And in all honesty, I haven't seen it every game from him. That's the problem. Yeah. Struds is 100% right. And you're both right. This is the best opportunity he's ever going to have to play in the National Hockey League. I mean, contract-wise, waiver-wise, who he's competing against, salary cap issues, all the things are in his favor. And to go to Struds' side, every shift, his first thought should be, I'm going to run someone over. He's a big man. And that's what Pakolzin has done. He finishes every check. At times, it's like a little Tasmanian devil out there. He just goes as fast as he can and hits someone. That's what you want to do in the fourth line. And that's someone, Pakolzin, understanding, okay, that's the spot that's open here. I was a first-round pick with a lot of talent, but that offensive thing isn't here for me. And he's trying to earn his spot that way. And Lavoie, I don't see that. I think Lavoie hits as an afterthought, whereas first I still, and I've played with guys that still believed that they were offensive players and wouldn't change their game and found their way out of the game. I think he has to realize that's no longer his game. Playing for the Edmonton Oilers, his game now is getting, and with 9 minutes to go in the game last night, puck came up his side in his own zone. He didn't get it out. That's what the coach is going to remember. The coach isn't going to remember the goal he scored.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent points. It'll be interesting to see what these guys put forward here over the next couple of games. They'll probably both get a few more games here to try and solidify their spot, and we'll see which way the head coach goes. By the way, did you guys know that Chris Knobloch plans on using Victor Arvidsson as a penalty killer?
I would think so. I mean, I know
he didn't kill.
One of the three of us here thought that he was going to play more power play and take Hyman's job.
We'll see. We'll see.
That tells me he's not playing power play. If he's doing penalty kill, that tells me he's not on the power play.
Yeah.
100%.
Knobloch actually said, I think I have the clip here.
We've got guys that we want to use. I think Arvidsson's going to be one of our go-to penalty killers. And
one of our go-to penalty killers. Didn't average 1 second a game on the penalty kill last year.
Must have been a good 1 second.
Yeah, must have been a heck of a good 1 second. No, hey, I'm all for guys getting opportunities, and it's not like he doesn't have the skill set. All right, that was our breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Before we head to break, we're going to have a Connor Brown discussion, among other things, coming up in our next segment. So, Zuby, why don't you hop on in here, buddy? Let's get to our De Boers YouTube poll, brought to you by De Boers Golf Shop and Fitness Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their fantastic pro shop style atmosphere, 5311 99th Street. Zuby, what do you got for a poll, bud?
All right, so we're talking about Connor Brown goals. I moved the goalposts slightly from what you sent me, Shogger, and I'll explain.
Oh, you did? Okay.
How many goals for Connor Brown? Not points. How many goals for Connor Brown this season? I wanted to add less than 5. I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe it happens. So option A is less than 5. Option B is 5 to 10. Option C is 11 to 15, and option D is more than 15. I think saying he'd have a 20-goal season seems on the sort of on the highest end of it. So I just slid it a little bit because I wanted to have that less than 5 option in there. So do you?
I don't think anyone thinks he's getting less than 5. I mean, he scored 4 last year in one of his worst goal-scoring years of all time. Like, that was a horrendous season for him. But we'll see. We will see.
Agree. It has a couple of votes, not many.
Does it have a couple of votes? A couple of pessimists?
Yeah.
Connor Brown's going to come in with another 4-goal season.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll dive into a conversation about Connor Brown, get to our Relentless player, Brownie Points, Struddy's World, Ask Us Anything, lots still ahead. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that just leads to better living.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, welcome back to the show. Time now for our takeaways, and they are brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Tackle all your fall yard work with a new ride from Horizon Ag and Turf. Year-end savings are now available on John Deere Gator side-by-sides, John Deere compact utility tractors, plus they have cash bonuses up to $5,500. Visit Horizon Ag and Turf online or at one of their 13 locations across Alberta. Horizon Ag and Turf, your local John Deere experts. So Connor Brown talked to the media today a little bit. We all know it was a train wreck last year, guys. It didn't go well. Recovering from that injury took a lot longer than he would have liked. But I think fair to say bounced back nicely, was reliable for them through critical moments of the postseason, and is picking up in a much better spot than where he left off before. Let's quickly hear from Brown on his game here in the Weiss Johnson Soundbox.
I thought I had a strong finish last year, and but that being said, I've played at that level. I feel before my injury, and so it's just back to being myself. So I don't need to expect anything out of the ordinary of me. Just go about my business, my process, and do my part.
The Oilers thought they were getting something in Connor Brown last year, and that wasn't it, right? We talked about it potentially getting some top 6 minutes even, and it didn't happen. Brownie, what do you think is realistic for Connor Brown and his role this year? Like, do you think he will be an absolute fixture in the top 9 this year, that he will not slide below that? And I guess maybe you guys can weigh in on your goal predictions too.
Yeah, I think because he's playing the right side, and the right winger behind him is Corey Perry, and I don't see Corey Perry moving up and playing third line minutes. I just don't see that at this part of his career. So I think Connor Brown is the third line right winger, unless I think if for him not to be, they will go out and get someone different. But I think he's going to have a good season there. And to me, 28 points on the year as a third line guy that'll get 0 power play time I think that would be a good season for Connor Brown, with probably 2 or 3 shorthanded goals thrown in there at some point during the season. Struds?
How many goals do you think, Brownie?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Brownie. I have 24 points, 10 goals. And listen, Connor Brown, things couldn't have gone worse. It was a really tough year. But you'd see spurts of it, right? Little things, and all of a sudden he kind of got it going, the last month, guys? Really? And by that point, it was probably health, but also confidence, right? That's confidence. So now he had a great, let's call it last month of the season, playoffs. A short summer, but he was able to work out freely, not worrying about rehabbing this or rehabbing that. And now he comes in with some confidence and kind of a position on the team, understanding where it's at. As far as, who his line mates are going to be. And I think the line mates are going to change. I do think, and this is a side conversation, we will see some change, especially, just some mix, just to get different looks, because Nalbach's got to find out who can play with who in different situations, right? Might not see it in preseason. We might not see the first 10 games, but at some point I think we will see it. So guys might move up or move down, because Henrique is still a pretty decent center to play with. He's not he's a little bit different than maybe a Ryan McLeod, who is still kind of trying to fill his game out and understand how to play it at the high level. So I think we'll see a mix, but I think 24 points for Connor Brown would be, that'd be, 20. If he gets 28, I think that'd be amazing this year. What do you see?
I looked down at my notes here. I have 13, 14 for 24 points. So I clearly wasn't doing math very well. 13 goals, 14 assists, 27 points. I got him in and around that 13 goal range. I think, his confidence really held him back last year. And I think he scored goals in this league before. And Henrique's a pretty good player to play with, can make some plays with you. Smart player. So I think he'll, I think he'll find the twine maybe a little bit more than in and around that 10 goal range. So it'll be interesting to see, though. He'll be an important part of the penalty kill. But I think, the idea that he's going to push his way into a top 4, or a top 6 position, he doesn't really have that pressure. He's back. No. The contract is different than the one he originally arrived here on. And I think, Struds, that'll probably make a difference for a guy, because I think Connor Brown, probably a player that cares a lot, right? Wants to make sure he's doing his part and earning his money and not being a drag on the system in any way, shape, or form. It's a different setup for him this year. Setting the bonuses aside, everybody.
Yeah, you're comfortable. He's comfortable. He knows and he was a big part of the team that went to the 2 shots away from winning the Stanley Cup. So he wants to get back there. But Brownie, having a good, well, actually you probably don't know, a good summer of training goes a long way. Sorry, that was mean. I shouldn't have said that. Not the part about you don't know, but you do know. But
that is not relatable.
Yeah. Just feeling good about yourself and going in with confidence and some swagger. And, this is your line. But I do think there'll be a bit of a mix and matching, I think, at times. I'm not talking Hyman going to third line, but there will, I think, be a bit of change there to keep things kind of fresh and new.
Well, with Connor Brown, there was huge pressure last year. He's coming off an injury where he didn't play the whole year, and the expectation he was going to play with Connor McDavid. And there's huge pressure when you're expected to. I mean, we're expecting 30 goals minimum out of you. You should get 90 points. Like, you're playing with the best player in the world. And when things didn't go well to start with, then it was just a snowball rolling down the mountain, getting bigger and bigger, and he just completely lost confidence. I don't see Connor Brown, in honesty, moving up in the top 6 at all. I think if there's an injury in the top 6, that's when you bring up a Savoy. That's when you give a Raphael Lavoie some ice time in the top 6. Those guys are pure goal scorers. I think they found a place for Connor Brown right now as a third line penalty killing guy that you can put out against the other team's top players and feel confident that he's going to get it done. And there's no pressure on him. You just go out there and play like you did in the playoffs last year. We put you out against anyone and we felt good about it. So I think he's set as a third line right winger, and I think he's going to relish that. And as Strud said, he's not playing with, and nothing against Ryan McLeod, but Ryan McLeod didn't create for his line mates. He didn't make other players better. Adam Henrique does. So he's got a really good third line centerman to be able to play with and create. So not only are they going to be good defensively, they can create offensive opportunities because they do have a good centerman.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Bruce Kierlock, who writes on prospects over at Oilers Nation, follows everything really closely. Real smart hockey guy. Zuby, he had a tweet there. I was trying to have him on the show, but he was away, talking about how, never mind the number 4 defense spot, the third line is going to be a major concern for the Oilers in his mind. And I think that argument is based a lot on analytics and puck possession and Ryan McLeod's ability to at least, suppress shots in his own end because he's a good puck transporter and his metrics are good. And maybe we'll have Bruce on at some point to sort of flesh out that argument a little bit. But how do you feel, Brownie, about this third line? Because, both Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark were healthy scratches at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Brown, at a certain point in the playoffs, was a healthy scratch. They came together nicely as a third line, but they were fourth line players a lot of last season.
I'm fine with it until they prove otherwise. They got a good centerman. They got speed on the wings. Both are, I believe, very smart defensively, Brown and Janmark. I have no problem with them being the third line. I think all three of them have a higher hockey IQ than Ryan McLeod did. So to me, the third line isn't an issue. Not yet anyways. So you have the one thing the Oilers do lack up front now, and it's been pointed out a few times, they're not as fast as they were. Now, Leon Draisaitl made a good point where you can pass the puck faster than you can skate, and they will be more of a puck possession team. But this is a slower hockey club than last year. But I got faith that this third line will be a good third line.
Struddy?
Yeah, I think we're going to work with that. And again, you got to remember there'll be moves, there'll be some trades, and people are going to come in, and one of those guys may be pushed down, right? And one of those trades may be Evander Kane coming back, like April, whatever, 4th. And then they may bring another guy in. So that could change the look at that as well. So like what the starting spot is going to be same as what we see when we head into the playoff talk here in, what is it, 9 months, 8 months, whatever it is, guys.
Yeah. All right, that was Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Struds, we haven't done a Relentless Player of the Day yet today. Obviously, the Oilers didn't play, so you'll have to go off the board a little bit. But let's get to that. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Are you looking to hire entry-level staff for your company? UCAN Youth Services trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing, and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. Struds, what do you got for this one today, buddy?
Yeah, we're going to the football, and the Ravens have been under some pressure. Looks like they're going to win this one tonight. But Derrick Henry, this guy, all he did was run 200 yards and run one across. Then he caught for the first time, I want to say it's like 5 or 6 years, caught one in the air. Also, so he had over 200 yards, total yards, and 2 TDs, one in the air, one on the ground. I love Derrick Henry. If I was a football player, I'd want to be him. I'd want to run downhill, just a massive mouth, my hair flowing out the back end. Like, he is just a stud. So Relentless tonight for the Ravens over the Bills, who a lot of Canadians cheer for.
Well, I mean, the only thing that's different between you and Derrick Henry is the hair and the speed. I mean, other than that, I think you have a lot of similarities.
One of those is true, for sure.
All right, that was the Relentless Player of the Day, brought to you by You Can Use Services. When we come back, Brownie Points, Struddy's World, Ask Us Anything, lots of show left. You've got it locked on to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolanddentistry.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Yes, it is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. Tired of those dull cookie-cutter houses that just kind of scream meh from every angle? At Timber House, they're looking to shake things up. Their designs harness the power of natural light to brighten your days and lift your spirits, because life's too short for ordinary houses and dull living. Let them build you a place where laughter and good times are part of the blueprint. Brownie, visit timberhouse.ca. I know you're a potential client, buddy. I know the Brown family is building.
I am. I'm just looking for that bump in pay for you so I can get a little additions, some add-ons.
All right. Well, start bringing some memorable takes and we'll talk about a raise. Struddy?
I get it's preseason and all those types of things, but when certain things happen on the ice, there needs to be a reaction. Now, I wasn't in the building Saturday night. You two were. Maybe you saw something different. But there was a drive to the net by Yanni Gourde, and he was being checked by Philp. Noah Philp was going with him. I believe right near the end, Yanni Gourde accidentally on purpose knocked Philp into Calvin Pickard, who subsequently left the game. As soon as that happened, Yanni Gourde had his hands in there like, oh, no, that was an accident. I didn't mean to, looking all apologetic. There wasn't even a dirty look glanced at old Yanni Gourde's way. And your goalie was knocked out of the game. Now, again, it might look different in real time in when you guys are there. But at some point, someone has to at least maybe swear in the general direction of him to let him know that's unacceptable. And Yanni Gourde is known as a hard player. I love Yanni Gourde. But you can't allow him to knock you into into your goalie, and no one even going over and just, even on a casual way, send him a dirty emoji look. Like, there's got to be something done just to say, hey, man, you can't do that. Just go and talk to them. And I wonder if this year that won't be a problem for this team with some of the guys they're missing or who have left this group. So I don't know what you guys saw live, but what I saw on TV, it looked to me like there need to be at least some kind of a response there, boys.
In the building, it didn't. It looked, honestly, it looked from up top. It looked like Philp was back checking hard, did a great job back checking, and just lost sight of where he was as he was looking to stop the puck from coming across. It didn't look like Gourde did anything out of the ordinary from my viewpoint. Now, again, you know what it's like in the press box. I am 8 stories up. I am old and I wear really, really thick glasses. So I could have missed it. I know what you're saying, but to me, from where I was seeing or looking, it looks simply like Philp ran into his own goalie. Schauger, what about you? You're about 25 feet closer to that net than I was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a little bit with Struddy on this one. I think when your goalie gets knocked out, like, at least make the guy's night tough. I mean, he's all of 5'9", 175 pounds, soaking wet, so it's not like anybody needed to be intimidated by him. And I know, accident to accident. Okay, well, was it him that bumped the goalie in the third? Like, wasn't there another little crease altercation in the third period too? I remember.
Actually, I think it was him. It was him right at the very end of the game. Yeah, it was 7 seconds left.
What's going on here? Like, how is that allowed to just be when he's the guy that took your backup goalie and a really important player for this team and put him out for the night? So I'm more with Struds on this one. I think this is something, depending on how often Josh Brown is in the lineup, depending on the way Darnell Nurse wants to play it this year. Evander Kane is not going to be playing. Boy, as I look at that lineup, guys, I don't know where any of that is coming from. So it's going to be thin. And I know the game has changed, but I think this is something that we'll probably be talking about with this team. They got some real high-end guys that need to, people got to have their back. And this team is not necessarily tailor-made to kind of naturally do that and even overdo it at times, Struds.
And again, it's not necessarily need to go and fight him, but just today's game, there's no need to fight. Like, there's no fighting. You go up and you just talk to the guy and push him around and make it look like you're really upset, right? and so even for anyone trying out for the team, like, and not to circle back to Raphael Lavoie, but that might an opportunity there to just skate up to and line up to him and just give him a good hard whack and a cross check, right? And Yanni Gourde could fit in your pocket like that little. Was it a cricket in Pinocchio? It's not even a big issue. You just jump right in your pocket. What's his name?
Jiminy
Cricket. That's the guy. So he could have just, it's nothing to be fearful of, but that just gets attention. And,
and Lavoie can fight. Like, Lavoie is scrapped in the minors. He and Podkolzin went at it in the minors pretty good.
But Yanni Gourde is not looking for that. But it's just to let people know that that at times you might have to do that. And that was an opportunity lost for Raphael Lavoie. He could have made a little bit of an impression there, left with the coaches and management. And I'm not saying he was wrong not to do it. I think it was a missed opportunity. And you only get so many opportunities here to make a noise.
That's really good point, Struz. 100%, 100%. If Lavoie does that, everybody notices.
Yeah. Well, we did see that happen last night in the National Hockey League with Arbor Jackeye. Coming in, not happy. What we saw last night with Patrick Laine was brutal, fellas. Like, that was awful. I mean, just the way that knee bent. I don't know if we had much of an update today, but like, just no good at all. And then Jackeye jumped in there, gave the guy no choice, basically just pummeled him. Although I believe he left his glove on, didn't he?
He got fined $4,000. He got every dollar's worth of that $4,000. Every dime of it, he got it out of that.
And you know that Marty St. Louis is going to accidentally pull his car keys out of his pocket, and $4,000 is going to fall by the stall of Wi-Fi, and he's going to be able to get his $4,000 back.
Yeah, for sure. That was a tough play, man. What did you guys think of the hit? Like, even after the game, I don't know. Like, were people feeling like it was brutally dirty? My sense was it was kind of like not great, but not intentional. And buddy there, what was his name? I had it up, but I can't. Anyways, obviously didn't feel it. Yeah, didn't feel like it was intentional. But what did you think, Struds, of the actual hit itself?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get too worked up about that one. What I am worked up about is I feel sick for Patrick Laine, right? This guy's he's climbed a hell of a mountain. He's climbed a hell of a mountain to get to where he is with Montreal now. And I'm not going to pretend to know what's up, but I got to believe he's out for a while. Like, at the best case scenario would be like a month. And then the worst case, I don't even want to get into that. So I feel sick for him. New team, new organization, fresh start, clean slate on life and feeling good about himself. And then what was that, like his second game? And it was like his first or second shift of his second game. I saw it. I felt sick when I saw the hit, and I felt sick when I thought of what it could mean for Patrick Laine. So, man, I hope he is some kind of Gumby and that he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All
and
right.
I watched it over and over again. I couldn't find it was hard to see if it was intentional or if it was malicious. I didn't see an angle that showed it to be a horribly where he was trying to do that. I just think it was just horrible luck. A really good player going against a player that wasn't used to that kind of speed and got put in the wrong position. And unfortunately, Patrick Laine was the one that paid the price.
Yeah. All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Hoss Developments. Now it is time to bring in the fun music and get ourselves squared away and ready for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. The Alberta-based family-owned business opened in 1962. Their beef jerky is out of this world. They sent their sweet and spicy jerky to the International Space Station in 2009 as part of a project to introduce authentic yet space-friendly food. Not many companies can say that. Fast shipping anywhere in Alberta. Hop onto albertajerky.com to order yours and enter the code GOTYOURBACK10. We'll get you 10% off. So that is promo code GOTYOURBACK for 10% off. Brownie?
I love the fact that Brownie Points are sponsored by Ryan Rishaug's Cool Jeans. That's kind of neat. I love that's the last thing I see right before I look down.
The jeans were fine, by the way. Conventional, like we asked around a ton on that one. Struds, the jeans were fine. You're the only one. You're alone.
Yeah. There's no doubt 2001, everyone there would have been loved it.
Number 1, 6 Brownie Points to Leon Draisaitl and his new line mates. All the talk in the world this summer was when we got Arvidsson Skinner. Leon's finally going to have players to play with. It's taken 6 exhibition games before we get to see them. That's assuming we get to see them tomorrow play together. Hope we do for Leon and his line mates. 48 Brownie Points to Noah Philp. We've talked about him a lot. I mean, it's unbelievable, the story of Noah Philp. If he does make the opening day roster after missing an entire year last year, good on him the way he came into camp. I have 88 Brownie Points to celebrate the life of Chris Christopherson, one of my favorite country singers ever, the Silver-Tongued Devil and I. He passed away today, I believe, at the age of 88. He was one of the ones that I grew up with, listening to with my mother. So me and Bobby McGee, nobody sang it better than Chris Christopherson. I've got 1,529 Brownie Points for Matthias Ekholm. That's how many seconds he played in an absolutely meaningless hockey game. He played 25 minutes and 29 seconds. I think he was involved in every goal for, every goal against. He got a couple of penalties. He ran a guy that he knew he was getting a penalty, but he was telling that guy, you stay away from Bouchard. But seriously, in a meaningless exhibition game, the oldest defenseman on the Oilers played 25 minutes and 29 seconds. I have 3 Brownie Points for the Edmonton Oilers. That's how many games they have to get through injury-free after what we saw with Laine. Drew Doughty down in LA, he's out multiple months as well. There's players all around the National Hockey League that have been missing practices, missing games. There's 3 games left until the real season starts. All right, everyone, knock on wood that the Edmonton Oilers get into the regular season healthy.
Was it a mistake that many minutes, Struds? Or is it okay? Like, is it good to just kind of rinse one like that, like Ekholm did? Yeah. Or is that a bogey?
It feels a little high to me. I don't really know what the goal is, right? Like anything north of 20, like that's fine. I think you get over 20, you're feeling good. 25, he was buzzing. There's no doubt about it, but those aren't 25-year-old legs, right? So it feels a little bit high. So I wouldn't have done it. I would have pulled it.
A little steep.
I would have pulled it
but he's healthy this camp. Remember, he was not healthy last training camp. So
he looks great. Yeah. Great pass.
All right, that was Brownie Points. Brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Brownie, we're going to let you go, pal. Thanks for doing this. And we will have a post-game pod tomorrow night, so maybe we'll try and catch you when you finish up with Bryn on Ched.
Sounds good, guys. See you later.
All right. See you, my friend. All right, that'll do it for Rob Brown. We're going to transition right into our Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, an Edmonton-based independent electric wholesaler offering a wide range of products from lighting and lighting controls, wiring accessories, control and hazardous products. You name it, they probably have it, serving electrical contractors working in Alberta's oil and gas, commercial, residential, and OEM sectors. Check them out at bjelectric.ca. Healthy number of folks joining us here on this Sunday night. A nice active chat tonight, Zuby. Where do you want to take us, my friend?
Okay, Peter Doubt, who is very funny on the stream. He wanted to know if there's any news on Pickard. He asked in several ways like he thought we were being coy about it. And so I will add my favorite one, which is even went with the Pig Latin. Any oozne on Ickard pay?
Oh, okay. So Peter was anxious for news.
Yes.
No, all Knobloch was saying was that he expects him to be skating here in the next couple of days. And they want Pickard healthy because if he's not, it creates lineup issues for them with how many guys they can keep and salary cap issues and such. So, yeah, they need him healthy. They don't want to have to keep an extra goaltender for the start of the regular season. That makes things really, really tough. But expectation is he'll be skating in the next couple of days.
Okay, JL said he feels like nobody has grabbed the defense spot. Is Dermott sticking around?
D-man?
There are many D-men that would fit similar roles on this team, whether they're lefty or righty. And so, you can only, there's only so much you can do. So, if he sticks around for a bit, okay, but is it that much different than Stetcher, who I thought he was moving around pretty well last night. Emberson still trying to find, they're trying to grab that spot. Like I've said it many times, I'll say it again. They have multiple options in the third pairing. I don't see the solution to the second pairing right side right now.
Yeah, I would agree, but at the same time, like Darnell Nurse hasn't been playing any games. He and Emberson they've been practicing together, but haven't played together yet. It's going to be kind of awkward. They're going to hit the ground running for the regular season, and it might be like their second game together. And so it'll just boom, they'll be off and running. So they're going to have to find it together quickly. Emerson's on the team. He's going to get a look in that spot. Yeah, between Stetcher, Dermott, Brown, nobody's really grabbing this thing by the throat. I would definitely agree with that. And they might have too many 6th and 7th defensemen on this team. We'll see.
Okay, Ken, on the Lavoie topic, Ken says if the Oilers waive Lavoie and someone takes him, it's another epic development failure. I didn't bring it in, by this team. This guy's good enough to play the fourth line to start. And then let me contrast that, and you tell me which of these statements you agree with more. Shane Matheson says, Lavoie most likely will be waived and passed over again. Every team has one of them. What do you think, Shugger? Oh, sorry, Struddy, go ahead.
No, go Shug.
Yeah, like, I think that he can, he's trying to make the Edmonton Oilers. Like, the Oilers are a Stanley Cup finalist, right? They're pretty deep up front. You would have to think that Lavoie would be able to find a space somewhere else and stick around. But I think similar problems, though, right? Because if teams don't believe that he can play in their top 6 or 7-8 forwards type thing, they see he doesn't kill penalties. They see all the same things. So, look, he scored a couple of goals here in preseason. Could he be viewed as a guy that just needs a different shot with another organization? Yeah, he could be viewed that way. Is there an outside chance he gets taken? Sure. I think chances are he slides through waivers, but it wouldn't be a great look, Struds. It just wouldn't be if they put him on waivers, he got plucked off and ends up in another organization on an NHL team and gets any sort of traction at all. I mean, at a certain point, you got to hang on to your prospects and you need to have good players in the American League, good players to call up, good players to, and the organization would like to still have Lavoie this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think I don't think they want to get rid of him. But honestly, guys, I've said this before and I'll say again. I wonder if there wouldn't be a trade at some point for a similar type guy in another organization, like we saw with Kostin and the Russian defenseman there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Just fresh start somewhere else. And maybe not. I don't know, but I just because you might not want to lose him, but I think he probably slides through because I'm another team. I'm like, what is he? What is he? What is he going to be for me? Right? What is he? What is his role on my team? And there's a lot of things. He's big. He's got a good shot. He skates well. But what is he? Like that's always the thing I keep coming back to. I don't know
the one thing that other teams could also look at and say, like, did he get much of a chance there? Like, did he get a prolonged look?
Fair.
Did he play his way out of the league? Like, what was, and they would go, yeah, they're pretty deep up front. He never really got a chance, certainly not in the top 9 scenario. Like, is he good enough to be a third line right winger and get you 13 goals a year or 14 goals a year? Like, as maybe he's got a great shot, would be on our second power play unit for sure if you're another team. That would be the logic for somebody that goes out and gets him, bigger guy that's got some speed. But again, I think the idea that every team has someone similar to that is also probably pretty accurate. So my guess is he would slide through.
So Schauger, just for fun, you said a percentage likelihood you think he'd get plucked off of waivers, and Struddy gets to go over or under on your.
So I'm saying percentage chance that he gets taken off of waivers?
Correct, yeah.
Well, I mean, part of it depends when he goes down. Do I think the Oilers could find the right time to slide him through? I would say 15% chance he gets picked off waivers.
Yeah. That's pretty dead on. I was thinking 20, so I guess I'll go over.
Slightly higher. Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the same wheelhouse. So
yeah, same headspace.
One up you, buddy.
Okay.
Now, if he lights it up the next couple of games, if he has 3 goals in his next 2 games, maybe that changes things.
Yeah. Is there almost like, we've talked about in depth about what his role is going to be. Is there a point where him scoring goals in some of these late preseason games almost becomes a bad thing for the team if that's the plan for him already, that he starts getting noticed a little bit more elsewhere? Or do you think that's
just
already
stop playing him?
Yeah.
Just keep him out of the lineup if you've decided he isn't making it. Nah, I mean, keep throwing him in. He's battling for a spot, and it needs to be a fair fight. He needs to be given an opportunity to have a fair fight and make this team. So I think it's important, and that's part of developing prospects properly, Struds, is if they get sent down, it needs to make sense to them.
Yeah, and you got to talk to them. Always that talk between sending down and getting to minors is really, really important. And I when mine was with Mike Milbury, I think I've shared the story. I went from, you're terrible, you're never going to play for us, just go to the minors. And then 2 months later, I got called up and I never played in the minors again. But he didn't give me anything to work on. Luckily, I had coach that supported me and helped me down in the minors. So that is the direct opposite of anything you want to do to a young player. So whoever gets sent down, you want to have that good direction. Work on these things.
Okay, I gave an assignment out to the everybody watching tonight too. I said, give me some. It's a preseason non-game night. I want some food and movies and social interaction stuff. So Jason Lee understood the assignment. He said, awkward social interaction question: were Struddy or Brownie, or Schauger in this case, ever ignored? Have you ever been ignored by a bigger celebrity or blocked by security because they didn't know who they were, or maybe mistaken for someone else? Either you guys got a good story on that?
So to this day, I still get called Brent Wallace to this day. Like, everybody thinks I'm Brent Wallace. So that guy's got a full head of gray hair. So that one, that one throws me a little. Go ahead, Truds.
When I was one of my first years in NHL, we went to Vegas with like Jim Noodles, my buddy Noodles, and some other guys. And I loved playing craps. So I probably played craps at the Hard Rock Cafe. I must have been there for 7 hours. Like, it was crazy. And I was there a long time, and the drinks were flowing, having a good time. And so everyone left me. It was just me. And I was giving people nicknames at the table and high five, and everything was good. And at about midnight, two huge guys come up to me in the suits. They're like, Mr. Strudwick, you having a great time? I'm like, I'm having a great time, man. Thanks for asking. He's like, well, you have 2 choices. Either you cash in your chips and go back to your room, or you're cashing your chips and leave. And I looked at him like, I think I'm cashing my chips and leaving. They're like, good choice. You're welcome back anytime. So I go and cash not that I had a lot of money there. I cashed my chips out, and we were staying at the Hard Rock. The next night I reeled back in. They're like, Mr. Strudwick, welcome back. I'm like, thank you very much. And that was it. And I never had a problem. But when these 2 guys pulled up beside me, I was like, I'm getting beat up by these guys. Like this was there was no freedom here at all. It was very clear the message they're sending me, like, your night's over.
That's awesome. What's JL got here?
Struddy ignored by a huge celeb, Warren at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that's true. And it wasn't even a 7-Eleven, but hey, nice hat, man. Yeah, thanks, bud. You really needed that Diet Coke going in.
I love that story.
This is a good one. This is from our new friend Phyllis, she joined us for the first time after the Winnipeg game. And she's a Winnipeg fan, but she's enjoying coming in here. So she says she has no questions, just enjoying hanging out with us all. Here's one from
Phyllis.
Penner's Pancake saying Holloway with back-to-back solid preseasons. Curious to see those two there and how they'll progress in St. Louis. What are you expecting from, it's hard, I'm sure you'll have an eye on those guys. What are you expecting from Broberg and Holloway's seasons in St. Louis?
Well, I expect Broberg to be given every opportunity to be a huge success there. Like, he's going to play, and I think he's going to play a fair amount there. So I would expect to see him play a lot, and I would expect to see Dylan Holloway get some opportunity in their top 9. I think Faxa and Matthew Joseph is kind of what's penciled in as his line mates here, according to Daily Faceoff, and Broberg's next to Justin Falk on that chart as well. So I would suggest they're going to get really good, firm, solid opportunity spreads.
They should be really excited. They're going to get a chance. They're going to get a chance to play. I think Broberg, or didn't Holloway that night have 2 goals, a regulation and overtime winner? Maybe I thought I read that.
I think he had a big night. Yeah.
I have been checking in to look at them because I like both players. Like I like Dylan Holloway the second they drafted him, and Broberg, I mean, he wasn't like a big defenseman that could skate. So I'm rooting for them. I want them to do well. But I'll say it again with Broberg. The second you get over $4 million, it's different conversation.
Changes.
It's a different conversation.
You know what else it changes? You know what else it changes?
What's that?
When you get to the Stanley Cup final. That separates the pretenders from the guys that know how to do it. My point is like the guy stepped in at the most intense time of year and played exceptionally well compared to what he had done to that point in the National Hockey League. So, I mean, I would bet that Philip Broberg is going to have a decent season this year in St. Louis, and that the contract isn't, like, we're not going to be talking about a train wreck of a contract. That's my gut based on what I saw out of him when he was thrown into the hottest frying pan you can get thrown into, Struddy.
He played really well. Very small sample size. Right? You got to be really careful. Everyone, I remember John Druce going on an absolute heater, scoring a ton of goals in the playoffs. I think you got to be really careful with that. And it's no doubt he played really well. And listen, I'm a fan, but when you sign that contract and you arrive, I've seen other big guys, vet guys sign big contracts and really struggle. So I think you got to be careful. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Time will
tell. I'm just going to see if I could grab his game log here real quick.
How many people
talk about it being you talk about it being a small sample size. I mean, I'm going to take a look here. So 17:55, 17:12, 15:49, 18:24, 17 minutes, 16:44, 14:37. I mean, he played second pairing minutes in the Stanley in the Stanley Cup final. He stepped in and played second pairing minutes and belonged pretty much all of it. And I agree, it's 10 games. 10 games. But not everybody can do that, Struds. Not everybody can. That's not getting on a little bit of a heater. That's playing usable quality minutes in a pressure cooker because you've got that in you.
Still 10 games. Listen, we're kind of on the same side here, but I'm just I've seen big veterans sign big contracts and it weigh on them. And
that's fair.
We'll see how it turns out. I hope
we shall. Zuby, one more before play of the day. What do you got?
Yeah, one more and we'll wrap up the poll. But I wanted to get to this one. People can chime in on the stream as well. Movie question from Jason Lee. What's a movie that you guys have to finish watching if you ever catch it while flipping channels? This is a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I'll go even because I've had time to think about it. I'll let you guys think for a minute. One for sure is Shawshank Redemption. If Shawshank's on, forget it. The rest of my night's ruined. I'm sitting down and watching it. And even though I'm not like a huge Star Wars guys, some Star Wars movie seems to be on TV all the time now. And if I bother to flip, I see it in the guide and I bother to flip it on, that's a couple of hours for me too.
Hunt for Red October. Love it. Just love it. Anytime it's on, I just sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, I love the Russian national anthem. God, I love that old one. I'll go with Gladiator. And by the way, they're coming out with Gladiator 2. Can't wait to see that.
Apparently, Russell Crowe wasn't asked to be part of that. Did I read that properly?
It's his son. It's his son. So it's like his son takes over. Not his actual son, but his son in the fantasy world.
My buddy Gord Parchewski there in St. Albert says Rounders. That's a good one.
Yep.
Dr. Nutsy Dielson, Breakfast Club. Penner's Pancakes was saying Rounders too. Mark Wenlat says Big Lebowski. Excellent. Super fun movie. Shane Matheson likes The Equalizer with Denzel Washington.
The original Matrix, I would say. Loved the original Matrix, and it's just so much better than all the other ones. I would say that's one that I'd probably hang in there for.
You literally get sucked into the Matrix when it's on.
I do. I get sucked into the Matrix. All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supply.
Oh, let me do the poll. Let me do the poll before we forget.
Yeah, we almost forgot.
Poll results.
Okay, wrap the poll.
I'll be quick. How many goals for Connor Brown this season? Less than 5 was only 3%. 5 to 10 was 20% of the vote. The winner was 11 to 15, coming in at 44%. And more than 15, 31% of the vote, over 150 votes on the stream tonight. So people think, we're hoping for bigger, better things for Connor Brown in this upcoming season.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for those who voted in our De Boers YouTube poll. Time now for the play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience and see how the team at Gallery has your comfort and well-being as their top priority. Modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Struds, what did you like today, sir?
Yeah, the easiest one of the year. And we haven't even got to the season yet. But the NHL rolled into Sudbury, population of 166,000 people. And the star was Malkin, hat trick. I give this guy credit, right? You roll into that. People, and if you didn't see it, they were signing autographs before, going out of their way to make sure everyone kind of felt like this is a special moment. And when you have your big guy, not that, I don't know if they tried harder or whatever, but when the stars in the league put on a show like that, so like Sid had a goal, Malkin had 3, Stutzel had 1. Like that's a good thing for the league and for them to go into a small town. Imagine if the NHL went into Red Deer. I think it'd be a really positive thing. So yeah, good on those guys showing up in that moment.
I used to work in Sudbury. Hey, did you know that about me?
Really? What's that town like? Gritty? It seems gritty.
I did. Yeah, but I mean, look, I grew up in Prince George, like had a bunch of my childhood there, Kamloops, like it was great. I was like 21 and worked at the CTV station there. So drove all the way across the country and worked there for about 10 months. Great town. I enjoyed it. And that's where Shoresy is filmed and where it's based is out there too, right? So it's a great hockey town. Great hockey town. C. Tom says Tombstone can't beat Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. And so root beer floats all around, says Chris R. Beauty Pod. Northern Farm Girl in with Twister as a suggestion. Saw the second Twister. Not terrible. Not great. Not as good as the first, but not terrible.
How good looking is that guy? The guy in that show, he might be the best looking human on the planet right now.
Seriously? What's his name again? What's that guy's name?
He's a stud.
I'm not sure he's got a ton of range as an actor,
in the new
though.
Twister, that guy?
Yeah.
I don't know his name either. But
movie.
It was mostly romantic comedies and
Glenn Powell. He's a 10.
Yeah,
he's
played
got
the
that
same
job.
Character in the Top Gun remake. He was the exact same. So he does the Top Gun remake and the Twister remake. I'm not as convinced.
You don't think he's a 10? He's a 10 all day long. He's a 10 in the dark.
All right, Brownie will break the tie for us next time on the show. Glenn Powell. Remember that. That'll be our De Boers poll next show. Great Glenn Powell. A strutty 10. All right, we're over time. Let's wrap it up. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. We'll check in after the Oilers and the Canucks on Monday night. Great job tonight, fellas. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right, talk to you soon, folks. This has been Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.